Good morning, everyone. It is that time. You are looking at Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates, and the arena, Etihad Arena, where the Mavericks are about to start the NBA preseason 2023. Minnesota won the opening tip, and they start the game with a Karl Anthony Towns three-pointer.
And you saw some switching there initially. This is going to be a much more switchable defense for the Mavericks this year.
The normally reliable Gobert around the basket misses a second shot, but follows home his own miss. The Timberwolves, and it's our first wedgie.
Oh,
wow.
Followell is so happy.
Wow.
Everyone is guarding 1 through 4 or even 1 through 5.
And because of that, Lively is such a quick player, lateral quickness, a smart player.
To drive inside and a miss by Towns, but he's able to dig out a ball. Looked like Lively was going to come away with it, but it's a loose rebound, and here's a three that is up and good for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Still waiting for the first field goal of the preseason for the Mavericks as Luka goes to work on Gobert. How many times have we seen that matchup? And obviously we saw it on the big stage in the playoffs in the spring of 2022. Here's a pull-up three that's good for Mike Conley.
And Conley really gives them a veteran presence, some stability from that roster.
And there is the first made field goal in the game for the Mavericks.
What you've seen is that they're 1 of 9 overall, 0 of 6 from 3. You want to drive into the paint a little bit more and not just settle for those three-pointers.
Steph Curry's out there as well. Kyle Anderson and Shake Milton are the first changes for Minnesota, and there's Luka slamming one home inside. As Towns drives inside against Powell and lays it in for Towns. That's 9 now in the first quarter. Josh Green with an attack and drive against Kyle Anderson. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was on the free throw line, and one of Minnesota's most important offseason moves, retaining Naz Reid and not even letting him get to the open market. Here's Luka hitting the deck, and he throws one in, chance for a three-point play.
I expect him to take, as amazing as it sounds, even another step forward this year.
Shake Milton a corner three, and that's good for Minnesota. They're in front now by 20. And it's Shake Milton, who after 5 years in Philadelphia is now playing with Minnesota, and Milton drives and scores. Here's an elbow jumper that is good for Luka. 12 out of 17 points for Dallas in the first quarter scored by Doncic as Milton knocks down a three. Shake Milton with a three for Minnesota. So Derek Lively denied a chance for his first basket here in the game, but Maxi Kleber has one.
Timberwolves playing with two bigs on all times, either Gobert and Towns. Now it's Gobert and Naz Reid, which gives kind of thought to, are there going to be other moves in Timberwolves land? This is Anthony Edwards' team now.
And that basket for Kyrie is his first of the game. We have not seen Tim Hardaway Jr. in the game. He was questionable with right hamstring soreness. We have not seen him here in the rotation in terms of the first 15 minutes.
And keep in mind, when it is preseason,
0 for 14 is the three-point shooting number now for the Mavericks in this game, but Towns has just made his second. It continues to be all Timberwolves, flirting with a 30-point lead, and the three-point drought comes to an end for Dallas on their 15th three-point attempt of the first half.
Grant Williams shows his corner three prowess.
When you're making them, now you can keep on taking them. 2 in a row. Mavericks missed their first 14 threes in the game, but they've come to life. Williams made 2, and now Jaden Hardy knocks down a three-pointer for Dallas. Drive and score by Karl Anthony Towns. Here's a jam by Powell on the alley-oop.
That was a really, really nice lob from him.
Yeah, 100%, Bobby. We know Hardy can score. For him to take that next step, he's got to be able to run a team.
Minnesota has led in this game by as many as 29 points. Turnover and a run-out jam for Jaden McDaniels. Was a real riser, by the way, in terms of the draft process and the draft preparation process. Ultimately, it's collected by the Timberwolves with Nickeil Alexander-Walker fighting Jaden McDaniels for a three-pointer. Lead is 26 for Minnesota. Luka, a step back, Jack.
You can't bail out on a play. You never know when you're going to get that ball from Luka. He's starting to learn that sometimes, just like that, you're going to have opportunities.
He can play fast, he can play slow, he's herky-jerky, he'll change speeds on a drive. As the big man, you've got to...
Case in point just
exactly,
now.
Yeah.
Hardy, Omax, Grant Williams, rest of the group out on the floor. Luka, Drano, right over Rudy Gobert. Brian mentioned this in the break when we were talking at halftime, that we anticipated we would not see the starters play in the second half of the game.
And Dante Exum really rehabilitating his career overseas and able to come in here as another long, rangy defender.
Chris Finch is opting to play his starters here at the beginning of the third quarter. I don't know how long this will go on, but the 5 individuals that you see on the floor right now for Minnesota are their starters from this game. You won't see the leading scorer from the United States team in the FIBA World Cup this summer, and a player whose star is rising rapidly through his first 3 seasons in the NBA. Here's Conley with a pocket pass to Gobert for a layup inside.
Defense is going to be a combination of strategies. They're going to play some more zone this year. They're going to continue to play the X-out defense that Sean Sweeney has developed, and some just traditional switching.
Nice. Jaden Hardy, nice finish, by the way, in the paint. Now, you were either tracking deflections or doodling on your notebook.
During timeouts when there was nothing to do and you're standing there and Don Nelson's looking right at you.
Josh got over 40% from 3 last year. Confidence is such a huge part of his game.
Dante Exum for 3, by the way, speaking of somebody the Mavericks want to see hit corner
Little
threes.
Aussie to Aussie love right there.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when I was with the Mavericks and players would get, coffees with 12 sugars and whatever they need to get going.
It would seem fair that if you have to use your coach's challenge early in the game because there was a referee mistake, that you would get to have at least one more challenge over the course of the game. Greg Brown's been playing in Portland for the last 2 years. Here's Kyle Anderson, and Anderson scores. Here's Omax in a pick and roll with Rashawn Holmes. Been a lot of Hardy scoring and creating, and he finds A.J. Lawson. That is a corner 3 for A.J. Lawson with a foul. Lawson in 14 games with Dallas last year and limited opportunity, shot 40% from the three-point line. Naz Reid was initially blocked by Greg Brown, but Reid follows that up to score.
Jason Kidd talked to us a bit again on Sunday about was the depth of this team. And, there's going to be decisions on who actually makes the rotation.
Olivier Maxence Prosper. He has been around the game his entire life, and Omax credits that as part of his love and insatiable appetite for this game. He got plowed into and is called for the foul. This is a score for Shake Milton. We'll see how it all plays out. They're not asking me for my opinion on personnel decisions yet.
No.
Now, you were there this summer, Brian, when I did try to give Nico some advice on some...
Yeah. How'd that go over?
Jelly. There you go. Sorry. Luka Garza for Minnesota. He just missed a shot inside. Here's Jelly Walker looking for another three-pointer, and it's on the money.
Just flat-out score.
Here is, Luka Garza with the finish, but the hard fall to the floor by Wendell Moore Jr., as he was the player selected at 26 with that draft pick that was traded. There's a score inside for Luka Garza, where Luka Garza was the NCAA Player of the Year and twice the Big Ten Player of the Year. There's Greg Brown getting blocked inside. There was Jarrett Culver, Jordan McLaughlin, and Jalen Noel, and so it was tricky navigating, getting ready for a Timberwolves game.
It's not exactly a quick trip to Spain from Abu Dhabi. Another time change adjustment that they will make.
That is 8 points, by the way, now for Jelly Walker. This will fall in. Luka Garza and Dexter Dennis is on an Exhibit 10 contract with the Mavericks. There's a score by Wendell Moore Jr.
Somewhat mandatory driven by the NDA, and they're wanting to have some presence in the Middle East and in Abu Dhabi, as you mentioned. These are a lot of things that they're tiring.
Is he a big NBA fan?
I guess.
We had a wedding at halftime last year when the Timberwolves were in town.
So I hadn't heard enough about that. Who officiated that wedding?
I think you just hit the nail on the head with that. There's Joe Wieskamp getting some game action here. Jordan Walker, Jelly Walker. Missed the pull-up. A.J. Lawson slicing through the defense in the offensive rebound situation. And this is an 11-point game here with 3:20 left in the game. I do think it is very, very important to point out that a Copa del Rey in Spain has been done in basketball for many, many years. Dallas led by 25 today from Luka. Off the bench, Jaden Hardy had 13. Other players that have come off the bench. Final seconds, that'll do it. Preseason is 1-0 for Minnesota, 0-1 for the Mavericks. And these two teams will see each other again on Saturday at 11 a.m.